allychrista and welcome back to my channel. And today we'll be going over how did I pass the NCLEX within 75 questions on my first time. And to just say that I passed it on the first time was a big accomplishment for me. And if I could pass it in the first time, definitely you could pass it in the first time. So I'm just going to be going over different strategies that I've taken to pass it within 75 questions, and what works for me might not work for you, but this is some tips that I would like to give to you guys. So you're in that, finally done with nursing school. I suggest that you take at least a week or 2 weeks off from school to just declutter your brain, declutter your mind, because nursing school is already stressful as it is, and in order to pass this test, you need to go on with a clear mind, because what you've been doing in nursing school may not relate to what is on the NCLEX. The NCLEX is safety first. Everything is safety first, safety first. So what you see being done in the hospital may not be the correct answer for the NCLEX. So you have to separate what you've seen during clinicals and going with a fresh mind of what does the NCLEX want me to do when answering this question. After I took my break, I decluttered my mind, I relaxed. You have to set a time to focus. Okay, this is what I'm gonna set aside to focus for this exam. And that exam is very expensive, so I already told myself I am not taking this test more than one time. So if you go in with that mindset of, okay, I have something to do, I'm going to accomplish it, then you should be easy to attain. It should be easy to attain. So what I did was I went over each system, I think I started with the endocrine system. So I started with, the endocrine system, then I went on to acid base, and that's how I went GI, GU, respiratory, heart. Make sure you focus on heart, a lot of heart medication. A lot of these patients in the hospital suffer from heart problems. So you're going to experience a lot of heart-related questions. Musculoskeletal, such as traction and whether you should move your patient or not. Different body mechanics that you should know within nursing school. And a big thing was prioritization. You must know how to navigate through which patient should I see first, which patient is more critical, which patient should I see and anticipate that something may be declining within this patient to catch it early, because you remember, patient safety is number one. So that's what I did the first thing. I just went over each system to refresh my mind of, okay, these are the key components of each system. Do not go through each system and try to digest everything. You're not gonna get it. You're just not gonna do it. Just go through each system and pick out the major key facts about the system and things of that nature, such as make sure you focus on your electrolytes, because you know that you use that within the hospital. There's little sprinkles of, L&D in there, little sprinkles of pediatrics, but you're mostly gonna get your adult population. Make sure fractures, with a fracture, you're supposed to be checking those CMS, circulation, movement, sensation, checking to see any difficulty breathing, because then you're gonna think of, fat embolism, things of that nature. You have to learn how to, when I have, say for instance, the question states something about, okay, this person has a broken leg and then they have a cast on, but they're feeling pain even though you gave them pain medication, and the pain medication is not doing anything. You know what you need to think of? Okay, sensation. Okay, is this patient feeling any type of sensation? No. Is it, the leg is swelling underneath the cast? Okay. Compartment syndrome. This is when you need to start thinking, okay, so something's wrong with the circulation. Okay, this could lead to this. This could lead to that. Okay, I need to call the doctor. Okay, I need to figure out, when did this patient start feeling this? You have to be on top of that. You have to anticipate these circumstances from deteriorating. So my test taking strategies is I went through each system. I used the Saunders book. I didn't really use it too much. I felt as though it was a little bit too much for me, so I focused on UWorld. UWorld, in my opinion, is the best thing that ever happened to pass this NCLEX. It looks just like the NCLEX. So It's something that you're going to be familiar with. It has thousands of questions that you can do. And also, once you feel as though, you're getting a little closer to the NCLEX date and you want to make sure that you think you may know this information, they have a actual self-assessment that you can take. And it tells you at the end whether, you have a high hopes of passing the NCLEX, or you need to further work on this, or, and so forth. So with the test questions, sorry if I'm looking over here because I have all my notes right here. So with the test questions, you want to go through, what I did was went through each system of the body, and I did test questions on each system, and that's how I did. So 1 week I would one day or 2 days I would focus on, the heart. The next 2 days I'll focus on fractures. The next 2 days I'll focus on musculoskeletal. Next 2 days, and so forth, until you get better at those questions. And with UWorld, you get to see, okay, this is the section I need to work on. So with me, my problem was prioritization, because what may seem, oh my gosh, I need to take care of this patient seems more critical. But then the other key of the NCLEX is that, okay, but this patient has this, but this could lead to that. Even though this patient is serious over here, but this problem that they may have surpasses this patient. So I really had to focus on learning the key concepts of different, the more popular diseases, and such as, different infections and things like that. Safety is number one. I'm going to stress this. Safety is number one. You just want to make sure what makes your patient safe. Whatever I do to the patient, what makes the patient safe. Because remember, even though the doctor may give you that order, you are the last step before that order is initiated to that patient. So if you didn't catch the wrong order that the doctor had written, you would be at fault. Even though the doctor is at fault, but you would be at fault because you were not doing your job as a nurse to making sure this is the right dose for this patient, and does this patient have any allergies, or is this even the right medication for this patient? Because certain medications may be given in any patient, but if this patient is a renal patient and has renal problems, you cannot give them the same medication as a regular person due to their lack of kidney function. So you could actually harm their kidneys more and lead them into further failure. So you as a nurse have to do your due diligence and be very critical of what you're giving to these patients, what you're doing to these patients. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to really remember the doctor. They're going to remember you as the nurse that took care of them. And going through nursing school, you go to clinicals. So in each clinicals, you see various nurses do different things that work for them. And so you see what the book says and what the nurses do while you're at clinicals. So you get to do your little hands-on experience. But when it comes to NCLEX, you have to learn how to separate what you have done within the hospital and what you've seen the nurses do versus what NCLEX wants you to do. Because yes, within the real world, you may find, okay, this works better if I do it this way, but according to NCLEX, this works better this way. So you have to learn how to separate that from what you've seen and experienced from what the NCLEX wants. So that was a little troubling for me, doing what works best for me and what still works for the patient, and also what the nurses have taught me. And you would really have to separate that, because this is not how the NCLEX wants you to do it. But, in the real world, this is how it's actually done. But towards NCLEX, this is how it should be done, to answer those questions. And I continue to do this. Just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. I suggest that those 2 days before, go ham. Go ham, go ham, go ham on those questions. The night before, go ham, but make sure you have sleep. Make sure you take a good night's rest, because you do not want to stress yourself out. Don't go in there stressing yourself out. Just think of it as I'm taking another test. So you want to go on with a clear mind. I suggest you doing the self-assessment. If you go the UWorld route, I suggest that you do the self-assessment the day before, so you can know, okay, or 2 days before, so you can know, okay, this works for me. I did everything alone. I didn't go to any group sessions, any Kaplan, anything like that. Everything was on my own, and I was able to pass the NCLEX within 75 questions. Manifestation actually works. So if you speak positivity and think positive, that yes, the whole way through, I never thought of, oh, I'm gonna fail this NCLEX. No, none of that. I went in from the beginning, I don't have time to take this test again, and I don't have money to be spending to take this test again. So I'm gonna take this test one time and pass it. And this is how you have to think about it while you're going through this process. Yes, nursing school was difficult. You went through that big, slope, and now you're at the end, and now you're taking this test to actually become a registered nurse. If you like more videos like this with nursing information, you guys let me know down below. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, so please keep pushing through, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.